Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Commodity TV here in Zurich today at the Zurich Invest offices for the Zurich Invest night. And with me here is now Osisko Gold Royalties and Sean Rosen, the CEO and chairman of the company, well known, of course. And we want to talk, about an update of the company because a lot of good things happened. Sean, welcome.
Great to be here, and it's been a very special year for us at Osisko.
Yeah, great to have you here, and let's dive right into it because I mean the Orion royalty deal finance, I would call it, or the deal you have done on that is really amazing. $1.125 billion. It's a nice chunk of money.
Yeah, it's I think it's one of the biggest deals that's ever been done in the royalty and streaming space, and certainly a transitional transaction for Osisko Gold Royalties. We're now a $2.5 billion to $3 billion market cap company. And we transitioned back to the U.S. markets where we're sitting north of $2 billion US, which is a pretty important benchmark for generalist shareholders, and the liquidities that we managed to get by having this transaction, and the evolution and the sort of the growth of the company into a senior spot. So it's been quite a spectacular transition, and we've done a lot of deals this year. We also raised quite a bit of money on the way through, so we've had a good vote of confidence from the marketplace. And I think this is probably one of the most important years in the history of the Osisko chain, which has created more than $9 billion worth of companies since we started this rodeo.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you maybe give us a bit more details about this whole transaction? I mean,
Sure.
I think you have tripled your cash-generating asset base, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we started out this company with the Canadian Malartic 5% royalty, which generated about 30,000 ounces a year. With the addition of the Orion portfolio and some of the other organic growth within the portfolio, we should see around 200,000 ounces a year of production by 2026 or 2023. Sorry. So 5 years out, we're seeing the highest growth in the royalty and streaming space. It's a pretty important metric for a company that we started 41 months ago. From the sale of Canadian Malartic, which was one of the still Canada's largest gold producer. But evolutionary, we started a $500 million market cap 3 years ago. We're now $2.5 billion, so 5x on market cap, and the share price is up about 25% across all those transactions.
Absolutely, I would say still that's not the end. As far as I know you.
Yeah, well, I'm very fortunate. I have a very good team around me, and we're quite aggressive in terms of what we want to do, and we have a pretty solid list of things that we wanted to get done, and. Depending on market conditions, we get the deals done that we want, and if we don't get them done, then we wait. But this has certainly been a deal-rich environment for us, and I think we've been one of the fastest growing companies. And if you look at our accelerator model outside of the royalty business, it gets even a little more interesting.
Absolutely. Before we come to your accelerator model, I want to. We had several people calling us and said, well, that's all sensational. We are viewing the videos with you. But what they asked us was like, Osisko was more on the precious metal side. Now you have diamonds, you have copper in addition, but of course still the focus is precious metals. How do you handle that in the future? Or how you want to handle that?
Well, I think certainly we are precious. If you look at us across and compared to all the royalty and streaming companies, we still have the highest concentration of gold and silver. Right now, revenues and NPV basis, we would be 75 to 80% gold and silver, and if you include diamonds as a precious, we would be closer to 92. So we're still dominantly weighted within that space. We have some exposure to some growth assets, earlier stage stuff in the copper space, and with the addition, of the Orion portfolio, we have some royalties on and streams on companies that are not in development right now. So. Kind of good organic growth on big projects that, it's really only during this phase before those companies get green lighted that you could actually achieve the kind of cost basis that we did in terms of buying these assets. So, we're always forward looking. We have the short, medium term look, and with the group, with a fairly long term plan and strategy of, sticking to top tier assets, and, being able to work both in the rain and in the dark. We like bad weather, and we like it when it's dark out because that's when we do our best work. So
and also especially you can handle the bad weather. I think that's also important,
and that's key to our business model. Is we don't need just good markets to work with. We can do very well in bad markets as well, and I think that's key for shareholders to think about. Is that if you want somebody that can a stock that can perform in bad weather or bad markets, we're pretty well geared to that, and we do some of our best deals, on the down cycle. 2015 and 2016 set the stage for a lot of wealth creation within the Osisko platform.
Fantastic. Let's move to your accelerator model. And I think it is well illustrated by the sale of Arizona, and you bought into Daradian. I think you did a net profit of $22 million. Maybe you can give us an insight in that, please.
Well, I mean, the accelerator model was based on the idea that we would have essentially three styles of investment, and we would dedicate about 25% of our overall investment strategy to growth companies. Arizona was a great transaction. We were in early. We bought 5% of the company. At 50 cents, the stock went $3.50. We harvested some of that, and we'd paid $10 million for 1% royalty. And we'd made more than $22 million actually on the equity book. So we've added that very important royalty to our portfolio and been paid to do it. So that's a very good day in the accelerator model.
Absolutely.
So we like that one. We also, some of the growth companies that we've been able to create, Barkerville Gold, Falco, and most importantly, Osisko Mining with the Windfall discovery, which is, has been probably one of the biggest and strongest discoveries we've seen for a while, with 24 drills turning, and the company went from $10 million to $1 billion market cap, currently sitting around $700-800 million. So we've seen some pretty spectacular growth in our accelerator companies. Most recently, we added Osisko Metals, which was a company that we've had for some time. We were able to pick up some great zinc assets in New Brunswick, Canada, and that company has gone up 5x in market cap as well. So we're doing something that we used to do, but we're doing it very consistently. And when times are out, we try and buy good assets, and then we take portions of our management team that we've had since the growth of the company. We're now 17 years together as a group. So
it's consistency, I would call it.
Yes, well, I think when it comes to sort of battle-hardened teams that have been together in the space, we're probably one of the longest standing. So we take that value knowledge, and we're just very methodical. We do a lot of science, a little bit too much sometimes, people would say. But that's where we unlock value. We believe that fundamentally all value is created at the drill bit, and if you don't have a good deposit, it doesn't matter how smart you are. So.
That's absolutely right, for sure. And obviously also you have never any problems to get money. I mean, if I see who is working with you and financing with you, that's the creme de la creme.
Well, I think that we've been able to attract a great set of shareholders, and we stay pretty humble and pretty dedicated to the cause. We do work for shareholders all day, 24/7, 365 days a year, and we don't take that responsibility lightly. And for us, when we deploy capital, it's like we're deploying our own capital. So we are owners, we are operators, and the shareholders own the business. So we stick to that basic principle.
I love that. Fantastic. Last question. What would you say is the production growth profile you have for the future, and also, let's say, from the cost basis on?
Well, we think we're pretty well positioned. We have a lot of top tier assets. I just came back from Armenia, where we visited the Lydian assets at Amsler. Great looking project coming online, a couple 100,000 ounces of production, very low cost, below $600 an ounce, and we have our stream in place already, so that's a mine that's developing. If we look across the base at break even for most of the ounces that are in our calculation for what we would consider the mine model, the break even costs are well below. We work with $1,000 an ounce gold. That's our baseline, so we can survive that kind of bad weather or even below.
Fantastic.
And then if gold ends up at $1,500 an ounce because of a couple of tweets, we'll be more than happy to pass that benefit along to our shareholders.
Yeah. Great. Last question, of course, for that. Dividends. You are paying dividends. Do you intend to raise them maybe in the future?
We enjoy a pretty good valuation on our gold equity positions. So we pass along a dividend. We paid about $54 million in dividends in 3 years. I believe we're one of the first companies to IPO on the TSX and the New York Stock Exchange and pay a dividend the first quarter.
Yeah.
So we like that tradition, and we think that by paying that dividend brings good discipline to the management team as well. You have to make money.
As you are shareholders anyway. Yeah, it helps you
and
also.
As shareholders, I want to be paid to be a shareholder as well. So,
super.
So we stay pretty dedicated to our dividend policy. Yeah. However, we do maintain a very sustainable dividend policy because the last thing that shareholders want is, if we do have a southbound commodity price, they don't want to see the dividend get affected.
Of course.
So we maintain a pretty steady Eddie approach to dividend policy, and we'll never decrease dividends, but we'll only increase them in reflection
when
to
the
our
time
earnings.
is right.
If we have the money, we will give it to you.
I like that. That's a great final statement. Sean, thank you very much. Big pleasure as always. And I think you're completely on the right way.
We're very happy. 2017 has been an outstanding year for us with a couple of breakout deals. And I think it really set the stage for the new Osisko. We transitioned. We sold the previous company for $4 billion. And if we look across the platform right now between Osisko and the accelerator companies, it's north of $5 billion. So the total value creation for shareholders, we're at $9 billion in 17 years.
Absolutely.
So it's we have a number that we're not going to share with you, but until that is achieved, we shall continue to prevail.
Okay, fantastic. Oh, that leaves room for much more. Great, Sean, thank you very much on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was Sean Roosen, the chairman and CEO of Osisko Gold Royalties, and you heard that $9 billion this team has already created in shareholder value, and there's much more, as he just indicated. We can only speculate on the number, but the company is paying dividends. They made the Orion deal this year, which is really outstanding and changed the company completely. Now the transformation to a much, much bigger scope and scale is now here. And also I would say they are doing the perfect business setup, and the accelerator model is exactly the model you want to have for the future. Identify the properties before somebody else is doing that and then bring them on. So thanks for watching us. Bye-bye from Zurich.